Hello friends, welcome again to the homestead. If this is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome. If you've been here before or if you're a subscriber, welcome back. We appreciate you visiting again. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. For those of you that have not been here before, I am Professor DIY, and behind the camera is Elpida, and Mrs. DIY will join us soon, right?
Yep.
Today, in the spirit of the holiday, Christmas is almost upon us. It is December 3rd, 2022. So we are going to take, in essence, things you can find in the woods and transform it into Christmas gifts and Christmas ornaments. So stick around. It will be a little more artistic than normal, but we always do that around the holiday, right?
Right.
We always build some holiday thing.
Something themed, yeah.
So stick around and we're going to show you Christmas 2022 on a budget. So here's a collection of material that we're going to use today. This is not material actually, this is...
Got our slices.
Right. Now, we printed an outline of a star from the internet, and because this sometimes is hard. Some people can do it by hand, I cannot. Also, this was purchased some years ago. This is some birch logs. You can find them usually in stores like Michael's, right? Or online. And then we have these, which really we don't need, but they will make things faster because we have plenty of sticks on wood, right? But the idea is, because not everyone has the resource we have outside, the idea is you can go and buy those. And these are not very expensive, are they, Elpida? Okay, so those are $1. And you probably bought them when they were actually $1.
Right, I did, because I've had them a while.
But even now, $1.25 is not a bad deal, right? We have some cones from
the property.
But you can buy those too.
Right.
They're not very expensive, right?
And here's some birch bark that I found near the place where I live, because there's some birch trees there.
And you cannot buy that. You have to find Elpida and she will hook you up. So leave her a message below and she will hook you up with birch. Anyway, as you can hear, our roof experiment was a success because Mother Nature is throwing us a curve today. So this is a nicer place to work than our shop, because our shop is full of boxes and stuff, things and stuff, right?
And we have a nice little flooded area going on, right?
But anyway, so today we're going to transform this pile of stuff into Christmas decorations supreme. Stick around. As always, we're going to talk about everything. And I forgot to turn the mic on, so we're going to have a voiceover. And I'm taking here a few pieces of wood, of branches, and we're going to transform it for you to these wonderful Christmas decorations or gifts. So stick around and we'll show you every step of the way. So we're going to start by cutting the template we printed. And again, this is nothing special. A piece of 4x8 printer paper, right?
8.5 by 11.
But it does say 4x8?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking in sit good, right?
Yeah.
The hazards of woodworking, or being a woodworker. And again, this can be any shape in general. We're using a star, but potentially it can be a Christmas tree. I mean, the technique will be the same.
It's whatever you want to make.
Right. And we want to make a star. But again, I can see that as a Christmas tree, or I can see it as any kind of thing, right? And when you trace it on the either plywood, we're using plywood, but you can use cardboard as well, right?
But again, the plywood we're using is
fairly thin, yeah.
But if all you have is cardboard, that works too.
Right. But you have to trace it a little bigger than what it is there, right?
Right. So we're cutting it out as the template size, and then when we trace it, we're gonna do like maybe an extra 1/4 inch overhang,
which will make cutting it a little more forgiving, because that overhang will be hidden, right? All right. So the next step will be to trace the star on your substrate, either plywood like we use or cardboard. So last time we cut more than we needed for our project, right? So this time
We have a lot of little ones left
with
over.
extras. Yeah. So we're going to trace an outline of our star. And again, the size here, it's up to you, right? But the application you want. This can be used for different type of decorations. You can also cut really small ones to make them into Christmas ornaments, right?
Mhm.
Excellent. How many hens can you count there?
This is a very fun ballet we're doing.
Well, and it's a little chilly out here, so we try to minimize the time we're out here, right? And we hope you can hear us over the nice sounds of the rain that is not getting us wet. Isn't that wonderful?
I like it.
Ta-da!
How did we do?
There is a star.
Yay!
All right. So we're eyeballing a lip, right? It is not critical that be exact, but try to be as consistent as you can. But again, it's not critical, right? And there's a lot of creative changes you can make to this project. For example, you can outline that into a piece of wood and then just give it a three-dimensionality by routering this off, right?
Oh, yeah.
And make a step. We're not doing that today, but we could potentially do it, right?
Mhm.
So once you get the shape, there are a lot of possibilities. We're going to be telling you things that they're a good idea, but we are not going to do necessarily because that's not what we're going for, right? And we can probably do all the hot gluing inside.
Probably.
No reason to do it out here. And here is our finished outline. In our case, we're going to use our bandsaw to cut it. You can,
We're going to cut on the outside.
right. You can use a jigsaw. You can use a scroll saw. I mean, there are several different ways. You can do it by hand if you're so inclined.
Okay.
So the next step, let's go and cut this, right?
Okay.
Here we are in our shop, and as we said, we're going to use our bandsaw, right?
The bandsaw is a great tool for this operation, but it is by no means the only tool you can use. You can use here a scroll saw or even a hand saw to complete this very successfully.
Again,
what equipment you have is not as important as your creativity and your ability to complete a project. You can use a scroll saw here, you can even use a jigsaw here. It is really not important at all. Just do something that allow you to complete the job and make you comfortable while doing it. The bandsaw again is a very good idea or a very good solution for cuts like this, but is by no means the only way to do them. There are many different ways to do them, and again, even a hand saw will allow you to do it, but it will require you to spend more time in the process. The bandsaw is a very easy tool to use and also a very safe tool. You can make very many intricate cuts using a bandsaw, and if you can find one for a good price, I strongly recommend you buy one for your saw. Again, I bought this saw many years ago, and it is from the 60s. It has worked very well, and today, as you're going to see later on, we did have a little bit of an issue with it, with one of the bearings breaking off. But overall, this is a very unusual circumstance that happened in our specific saw, and it is primarily because it's such an old saw. So if you find one for a decent price, maybe around $100 or so, go ahead and purchase it. This is a little bit of a blooper shot. We forgot to turn the camera off, and we took a little bit of video while we're working and discussing how we're going to do this. The next thing we wanted to do while we had the bandsaw operating was to cut some thin pieces out of some birch logs that we purchased some years ago, and we're going to use them to make some ornaments. It makes sense to use one tool station at a time, so you do not have to waste time going back and forth, especially for us today with the rain, because we did not want to go from the shop to the deck to the house. So cutting everything we could at the same time made a lot of sense for us. The next step was to cut the small circles into half so we can have a nice clean edge when we put them around our star. This is not a necessary step, and many places that I saw this build saw them with full circles. I just like the cleaner look that a straight cut has, so we decided to go with it. But again, you do not have to do that. You can simply leave them the same way, the intact. You will take a little more material, so this minimizes material as well. But again, cost is not an issue in this kind of material. But in any case, that's what we decided to do. Next, we needed two pieces that had the same thickness, so we put our fence on. And we use one of our old pieces of red cedar that we have from around the property, and we are going to cut this in two different sections that have the identical thickness, not width. So in just a few moments you're going to see a very bizarre thing that happens to our saw, and I'm not sure how well we capture it here, but I'm going to try and show it to you if we find it out. As you can see, the first piece is cut. It looks great, and now we're going to try and do the second piece. At this point I've reduced the speed of the video to 50% because it's about a little incident for the video. You can see right here something moving. It is faster than even at the slowest speed I can put it. Here is the bearing. One of the bearings came off the saw, and it's one of the good reasons why you need to wear glasses. With our pieces cut, we moved to the house, and now we're going to glue the birch bark on top of the substrate, which is in our case a piece of plywood. But again, you could use some cardboard or anything else that has some stiffness to it. All you want is something to attach the bark on, and then the little semicircles that we cut earlier. Peter here is using a sharp knife to shape the bark to the shape of the star. And this is a little bit of a difficult process because the bark is very fragile and it doesn't want to quite cut where we want it. But with a little bit of patience, you can achieve very good results here. Again, take your time here. The final look of the project will depend a lot on the time you spend here, and you take your time to make it look good and make it as precise as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means, but you do need to make it fit as well as you can. Remember, there are going to be some semicircles covering this area, so a little bit of a jagged edge is not going to be shown and will not distract at all from the project. If you are artistic, this is going to be a very fun part of the project. It's not really woodworking, it doesn't require any loads or heavy tools, just an X-Acto knife or any other sharp knife you might have. And again, the bark was free. Aprida found it in her neighborhood, and this is where you want to exercise your observational skills. A lot of times what you're going to find laying on the street can become a project, and that was clearly the case here. She saw this bark of birch and she picked it up, and we immediately were able to find a good use for it in creating a great little Christmas decoration. That took some time, but eventually it started really looking very good. We are done with all the pieces of birch here. They've all cut in the dimensions and the shape we want. So the next step is we're going to use some Tribond 3 glue, and we are not sponsored again, but we do like Tribond. Now this is a quick drying glue, number one, and number two is a little thick, which is perfect for this project, and also it dries clear instead of white, which is also as good because the birch bark might have some imperfections and some openings, some holes that you don't want to see the white coming through. The tool you see as used here comes actually from the Dollar Tree, and it is intended for the kitchen. It is for pastry and frosting, but it works very well in spreading glue, and when the glue dries it's very easy to simply peel it off without leaving anything in the background. We really enjoy it. We use them a lot whenever we need to spread glue, and for $1.25 we bought 3 pieces. Some of them have notches, some of them have no notches like this one, but they have a little bit of a round over if you want to be in a tighter area. The advantage of this glue, of course, is that it's also a little bit tacky, so when you put the birch bark on top of it, it kind of stays on top without having to worry about it curling out. Here again we're showing you continuing. It is a little slow process, you need to take your time, but it really worth it in the end when your project will look like $1,000,000 because you took the time. Be patient and be careful here, and your result will be absolutely fantastic. Again, it'll be that takes care to see any areas that the glue has not adhered well. And as you can see, she's adding a little bit of glue here. You want that to make a very nice bond and all of it be flat. You do not have to have one big piece. As you can see here, we use a lot of smaller pieces that we cut to shape. And to some degree, that might be easier, even though it does make the gluing a little more complex than if we had one big piece that we simply cut to perfectly fit our star. But in either case, the result will be nice and will be pretty much the same. And the bark gives a nice texture to it that no other way you're going to be able to achieve. You can see a little bit of white glue there, but as it dries, that will become clear, so it will disappear. That's why you want the glue on a project like this that dries clear rather than the glue that does not. Moving on to our next project, we're going to use some pine cones to make two small little Christmas trees that are great decoration or great little gift for work or for a friend. Again, the pines can be found easily in any rural area, or you can simply buy some for a fairly inexpensive price. We use some of our cedar branch that we happen to have in the property, and we just found a piece that we like. If you remember earlier in the bandsaw, we cut two pieces in the same width, and this is one of those two pieces. We had two pine cones, and we wanted them to look kind of similar, so it was important for us. It is not critical to have it centered, but there we marked an approximate center, and here is the pine cone. We're going to leave it as it is, but you're most certainly welcome to paint it or kind of embellish it. I think we're going to just use a little bit of clear coat to protect the color. A dab of glue is all you need for that, and hot glue is a great glue for this project. In fact, projects like this that you buy in the store for $10, $15 or $20 actually use the same type of glue that we show you here. It is great because it flows easily and it takes but a few seconds to achieve the bond that you need. And as you're going to see in a few minutes, the cone will be self-supporting and the project will be done. So it is that easy. You don't have to spend a lot of time and mess with screws or mess with aligning things. You just put a glob of glue and then you just set what you want to set in there and you let it rest. That's all. This is a great example of a nice gift or decoration that requires practically zero investment in tools, zero experience, and yet it's something you make and has special meaning not only to you but also the person you gave it to. Of course, the second, third, fourth, fifth you make, it's exactly the same way. And in a moment, Mrs. DIY is going to let go of them, and you're going to see how nicely they stand on their own. And pretty much, other than putting some poly over them, this is done. This is a very fast, very useful little tool, a little gift, and you can do with zero tools, even in your kitchen table. And that now brings us to our next project, and that is using a little bit of a wood burning kit. An experiment. This is the first time that Elpida is using this type of kit. In fact, this is the first time we took it out of its box and start using it. But after a little bit of experimentation to find the blade that best works, she started working, and we're using this wood clamp that is extremely versatile to hold the piece, because these are small pieces, securely, so she can use the iron without any fear of burning herself or without any fear of losing it. You can apply a fair amount of pressure on it, and you can see she's making a very nice little snowflake. You could do the same on a laser, but on a small piece like that, I think it's going to look much better if you hand burn it than if you use a laser. Again, keeping it simple, use just a piece of a branch, and we're going to burn something there, and we are going to make this as well a nice decoration. Regardless if you're using a flat piece of wood or a little cylindrical piece of a tree like we use here, the process is the same. Choose the correct pit or the tip that you like the most and start drawing shapes on the wood. You can see here that we have two different sizes, sides, each side with a different decoration in it, and you can use your imagination here. In fact, in one of the little ornaments we made, Elpida wrote the word joy, and in one of the flat pieces we made, we wrote 2022 to commemorate the year that we did these decorations. So for years to come, we're going to be looking at these decorations and remember the fellowship and friendship and spending time together before Christmas to create these little ornaments and these little gifts for friends and family. Again, do not be bogged down about spending a lot of money or worrying too much about having equipment, but just do what you can with little expense of money, and most certainly not only you save money, but you create memories that last for a lifetime.
So continuing our artistic streak here, we are using a burning iron, is that what it's called? And we are burning some holiday Christmas shapes on little pieces of wood that we're going to actually hang on our trees, right?
And so once we've gotten all the designs burned, then we can take a small drill bit and drill a hole. That's why I'm leaving plenty of space at the top. And then that will create the hook so that.
Right. So in addition to wood burning, we're using our laser to make holiday shapes on the slices of birds we have. And you can do it, of course, on any wood. And this is the part of the process that takes some time, but hopefully we're going to be able to finish tonight and have a nice video for you. We're not going to show you too much of this process. All of them are the same. You center them on the laser, and then you burn the different sizes, shapes that you want. And here is one of our test pieces that we use a cardboard to do, and it came out beautiful, right?
Yeah, it's really dimensional. It cut through the top layer, and you can see it it goes pretty deep.
So we're going to try and use it for something. We don't know what yet, but we're going to cut the shape out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to, potentially you can glue it on something.
I think that we might use it for a gift tag.
That'd be pretty cool, yeah.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Both our circular and our cylindrical pieces are done. The decoration drawings, wood burning actually, has been completed, and now we're using the wooden clamp again, and we're going to make small holes that will allow us to hang these decorations on our tree. Again, this is a pretty straightforward process, and as long as you have a way to secure the piece so you will not injure yourself, this is something that you can do very quickly and very easily. Regardless if the piece is circular or not, it is the same process. We're using the same bit, and the size of the bit should be the smallest bit you can use, that you can pass a piece of either wire or some form of string over it, so that you can attach a loop that can hang it on your Christmas tree. A very, very simple process. Just take a little bit of time. Do not press too hard. Take a little bit of time. It is a very small piece of wood. It will go through fine without difficulty. We are now reaching the point in which we're going to finish the star. And as you can see, we did a dry fitting here. The birch bark has actually dried, and it is ready for completion. This is a very rustic, definitely handmade, definitely wonderful and warm look. So we're very pleased with how this came, and actually matches the tree that we made last week for our house decorations. We chose to use full pieces on the points of the star. That gives it a little bit of a visual interest, but as you can see, we cut the other pieces in semicircles, so that creates a nice flat edge. Mrs. DIY here uses a hot glue gun. The hot glue is the best glue for this project for a couple of reasons. Not the least among them is the fact that it dries very quickly, it is clear, and it doesn't require any extra preparation. When you're done, it is there and you don't have to worry about it. Methodically moving around the star, as you can see, we almost reaching the last two pieces. And one of the good things about hot glue is that if you make a mistake, you simply can hit it with a hot gun and it will come apart and you can fix it. But inside the house, you will never reach the temperatures that the hot glue will fail, especially in the winter. So again, a great tool to do this project. or a great choice of glue, not to do this project. And if you do not have a hot glue gun, they are really inexpensive, in the $10 to $15 range, and you can buy them virtually in every hobby store or any big box store that does DIY products. So if you don't have one, it's a great little tool to have. And here is the finished project. It really looks great, exactly as we envisioned it. So now, here we're outside again with all the decorations completed. You can see here the star, you can see the ornaments, you can see the little pine cone trees, and we are very, very pleased. You can spend more time and make more. These were enough for us today. We learned some new skills with a lot of fun things, and we enjoyed how this came out. You can see one of them hang here, and you can see it is a very nice and whimsical. And also, you see the joy in the little candy cane. You can use your imagination. You do not have to be very artistic in order to do this project. It just takes a little bit of time. And you can see the nice job that our laser did in creating little snowflakes and other designs. Overall, we really enjoy making these decorations.
So what did we learn in this project, ladies?
Hot stuff is hot.
Okay, anything else?
Definitely know the size of the templates that you want to use if you're going to print something with your laser printer, or make the carvings or the wood burner like we did. Just make sure that the scale is right for what you want to put it on, because nature is all sizes, and you just need to know kind of what you're working with. And don't be afraid to look around your yard and see what you can use for art, because all of these things came from, well, with the exception of maybe the piece of plywood we used, came from the yard.
And you could use cardboard, like all the boxes you get Christmas gifts in. You can actually take a piece of cardboard and do this project.
Yep.
We just happen to have a lot of scraps.
Smaller pieces of.
Right, and we use our scraps. So, but it definitely is not a requirement. You can do it without it, right? And again, experiment. This was Peter's first burning.
Attempt. Yeah.
The first time she didn't burn it herself, she burned something else.
Right.
Right, but I mean, burn something with a burning
With
kit.
a design.
Yeah. So experiment, have fun. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And again, you make something. Not only you save money, you go and buy. Look at Etsy. You're going to be surprised how much money people charge for these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, you can give someone something that you made, right? It is not something that everyone else has. These are unique. Even if we were going to make another one, it will be different, right? It will be impossible to duplicate it. So for us, it will remind us this year, will remind us the time together. It is a great thing to do, to remember with family and friends. Well, friends, and this is our project for today. In fact, there are 4 separate projects, right? We created a combination using a birch bark layover, right? With small pieces of branches to create this attractive star. We just picked up 2 picons and simply put them on bases, and this is a nice decoration.
Additional wood slices.
Right. We made a lot of wood slices, like these ones to laser and these ones to put them on the star. And finally, we just cut branches in half to have a base for what Elpida spent a lot of time doing by hand. And also Elpida did this. This is not laser cut. And as you can see, it's very similar, right? I mean, even though it is not laser.
And then this one and this one, I just shaved some of the side off to make a flat surface to use the pyrography pen.
Okay, so those are pretty straightforward projects, right? What equipment you need for this? Really, you need a handsaw and some way to make holes, right? In fact, I was thinking about it, even if you have like a Dremel, they come with an attachment to make. You don't technically even need a drill, right? If you have softwoods, a $10, what do you call it? Miter box with a saw included. It's about $10 in any of the big stores, the big box stores, right? Now we did use our bandsaw, and Peter, be aware of bearings.
Bearings popping it in the chest, yeah.
Beware of bearings. That was a very bizarre incident.
Yes.
Unexpected. We didn't. It was our old equipment, very old equipment, older than me, so dirt old.
The saw is really doing well for its age.
Absolutely, and we use it. It is not like it doesn't sit there, and we use it even after it failed. That shows you how well made those things were. We just have to slightly adjust
Be a
our
little more careful
right.
about how you're working with the blade.
And I think we have that on video, don't we?
I think so.
So, but in essence, we made 4 projects. This was the simplest, right?
Yes.
The rest of them were simple, but they're too tight. That's why we are here in the middle of the night, right?
But the pine cone trees again, you can decorate those up to match your decor. So if you want glitter on them, you want some snow flocking, you want just paint, whatever to match the color of your decor. They don't have to be this natural wood. They can
Right.
be something to match you. But they do make very nice little lovely trees as a table decoration or part of a scene decoration,
Correct.
something like that.
And if you find bigger ones, actually, you can take its leaf or whatever you call those,
The petals.
and they make very nice jewelry, very nice earrings, right?
Yeah.
So, where did you find those things for free? Go to any park, go to any area that has trees. You're going to be able to find.
The majority of what we have here.
Right. I mean, most of what we have here came from our backyard. These came out of a set of birchwood
Logs
sticks that we bought at Michael's. Not very expensive at all, right?
We did use a small piece of
Plywood.
for the backing on that star, but you can use cardboard as well if that's what you have.
And let's show a little detail on this. I don't know if you can see it. Okay.
And I don't think we caught it on camera, but I did sand just a little bit on those edges. But that
Yeah.
detail looks really lovely.
So we're
And
very
it's got some nice depth to it because of the layering of the birch bark and the little slices.
yeah, we were very pleased with how it happened, right? So a hot glue gun
Yep.
and something to cut with, and that's all you need, right?
We did use some wood glue for the birch bark.
Yes. That was a hot glue gun.
Different.
Huh?
We used regular wood glue.
Oh, I see.
It's
Yeah, I'm sorry.
the
Yeah.
quick and fast setting.
But you use transparent glue, so
Yeah, so
If
when
it-
it dries, no one can see.
Right.
Yeah.
and really, if you want, you can epoxy them. If you want them to not change color,
Absolutely.
you can epoxy them and they will stay in this color. And we might do that. I don't know. In any case, we hope you enjoyed this show. And if you did, please give us a thumbs up. Also, let us know if you like this kind of projects, and we will do more throughout the year. From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, have a very happy holiday. We're going to see you soon, friends.